Hi, how are ya? And welcome to Coral's Inky Adventures. Today we are going to be doing my very first currently inked. Finally got all my pens changed out and everything, so let's get started. All right, so let's talk supplies. I am using my Hobonichi notebook with the Sanzen Tomoe River paper. I have my Traveler's Notebook clip holding it open and a pencil board also from Hobonichi underneath. And then for swatching, I will be using this little pipette I just got from Michaels and then this plastic spoon. So we're going to start off with the browns because I definitely have a few of them this month. So I am starting with the Back to the Land Incredible Rock from Esterbrook. I have the Incredible Rock pen as well, which is what it is inked in. I have had this ink in a different pen, but I have never had them inked together, so I'm excited to finally and I already messed things up, but we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna just its spot is gonna be right here in the middle of this row instead of on this side. So we're gonna, yeah, there we go. Everything's fine. I might actually suck up some of that ink because that is a lot. Let's get out the pen. I do also have a just spare rag on the side. I didn't mention that in the supplies, but I definitely do have a spare rag and also two water cups. One with that'll be my dirty water and one that'll be my clean water to clean out the pipette in between things. All right, I'm gonna have to be very careful to not get ink everywhere with this, but let's see. Esterbrook. Incredible. Rock. I guess that's kind of the name of both of them, so I'm just gonna put the nib size and then I'm also gonna write it again for the ink name. If I can made that go too close, but that's okay. All right, I'll do a little swoopy down here. And then, oh, why did I even put that? It is not a medium nib. It is a journaler nib. There we go. That'll be fine. Mistakes happen. Oh yeah, I should do these ones too. Okay. Still figuring out how to do these watches. It kind of ruined my game plan that it dropped in the middle of the page. So we're going with the flow today. It'll it'll settle in sometime, somewhere. All right. I think I'm gonna keep it with the Esterbrook's. I might just start writing everything under instead of around, or maybe just the ink name around and then like the pen and stuff under. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's do it. We're gonna be more careful with our ink this time. This is my first time using these pipettes specifically. They're not super different than the ones that I had been using before. But they do have a little bit wider of a tip. So I'm wondering if that has anything to do with my little mishap that I had. Also, Bet's becoming a little too interested in things over here. There you go. Good boy. Settle in, settle in. Move some of this around a little bit. Boop. This is the Esterbrook X Bungu Box Kingfisher. And this one I have in a fine nib. So I have it inked with Kobe Arima Amber. And yeah, that's way too long of a pen name. So maybe I'll just do, or turn things around and do my little swishies. All right. I went a little crazy with that at the end, but that's okay. And then it is the Esterbrook X Bungu Box SD Kingfisher in a fine nib. There we go. See, I told you it'd settle somewhere. And then my last brown. It is an ink I am excited to have in a bottle. I should mention the Incredible Rocks in a bottle. This is obviously a bottle. The Rima Amber I only have in a sample. This is Jacques Herbin L'Identité. It's been huge in the community. So I'm excited to finally get it. It is one of the most recent ones I've gotten. I got a couple at the same time. I'm pretty new to fountain pen world, and I got a bunch of samples to get me started, and then I'm starting to collect bottles as well. A lot of these are ones that I've never had inked before. I think pretty much like all of them, other than the Incredible Rock. Bet, stop it. He's very interested in the inky water. Anywho, we're gonna swatch this one. Do, do. Oh yeah, that is definitely tea-like, just like its name. Trying to leave some room around, but still make it a decent size swatch. It's interesting. Okay. That one I have in my TWSBI Espresso and Bronze in a medium nib. Now this one, I will say, this is the first time with this pen I am having a little bit of an issue with some leakage. Like there's just a little drop that comes out every once in a while and has definitely ruined a little bit. I mean, it's fine, especially since it's literally called tea brown. That's what it translates to. It just looks like I got a little bit of tea on the page, and it kind of gives it a certain aesthetic in that way. So it is what it is, but I would prefer that it doesn't do that in the middle of me writing. It might be the way, like maybe I put the nib in like not quite correct in there. And you'll also notice I don't fully ink these because I have so many pens inked that I don't want to have a bunch of ink left at the end of the month. But I'm like, do I not have the nib aligned completely well? I don't know what the issue is there. I might have to take it apart at some point and figure it out, but we'll see. We'll see if it just fixes itself a little bit. I'm going to give it some time in that regard. So this is Jacques Urban. How do you spell that again? It's funny, it's like lie did the essentially, and then a little boop. Did not do super well with that. All right. And then this is in my TWSBI Eco Espresso plus bronze and a medium nib. Had no problems with it there. And while I do have like 3 browns inked, I think they're all a little different. These ones are kind of similar, to be fair. But there are some differences. I think this one leans more yellow and this one leans more orange. It is actually amber, like what it says. I think, yeah, I think they all do different things to a certain degree. So yeah. And they're all in different nib sizes. So that's also variety in that way. Now I think we're going to move on to the purple, red, I don't know. There's some interesting ones in here. I'm going to start with the most just purple ink, which is another sample. It's the KYZ Gray Plum. I have to move this down. All right. I love the clear spoon for this because you can see exactly what you're doing, which you can't with a non-clear spoon. Doesn't mean there's no mistakes, because that does happen anyway, but makes them a little less. It is such a pretty purple. I love all the inks. I do have ones that kind of are in the same families this month, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm new to the hobby, so I'm trying to figure out like what's my favorite brown, what's my favorite purple, what's my favorite green. This one is in my Pilot Kakuno. Great little pen. I love the writing in it, and the cute little smiley face nib is always a plus. I have mine in the Madarome Cumulus Clouds colorway and in a medium nib, but since it is a Japanese medium instead of a Western medium, it'll be different than like this TWSBI above it for sure. So this is KY, or K, I keep wanting to say KYZ, but it's KWZ Gray Plum. I'm curious if y'all turn your notebook as much as I do when you're doing things, but yeah. And then it is in the Pilot Cocoon. I did not line those up well. I don't remember remember how to spell this, so I'm guessing Madarome cumulus. I don't know if I'm spelling that right either. Clouds. Medium nib. Yeah, you can see the difference between the Japanese medium and the Western medium. It is definitely evident. And then next we're gonna go to some Japanese inks. I guess some of these are probably already... No, Jacques Urban isn't. Neither. I guess Kobe is. I'm not sure about KWZ. But anyway, this ink, very excited to finally have in a pen. I got it like a month ago, but after my March selection, so I'm very happy to finally have it in a pen. Yeah, it's very interesting of an ink. And the next two are kind of very similar to each other, but there are some differences. It's one Sailor ink and one Pilot ink, and I wanted to see the difference. And also, I couldn't resist the spring theme name of the Pilot ink, so I had to get that recently, specifically for my April first full month of spring selection. But we'll talk about that more when we get there. For now, I'm gonna do this Sailor, I believe it's the Shikiori line, Hana Koro. I should look up what that means. I feel like I knew at one point, like looked it up when I bought the ink, but I've forgotten. The other one I can give you the English translation for, but not this one. Unfortunately, I am filming on my phone, so I cannot look it up. Maybe I'll add it in post or something. That one is in a knockoff Sailor. It's my Jinhao 82 is what I have that inked in. I need an actual Sailor. I'm trying to not spend my money on a pen right now, but with the Sailor price increases and there's like a last round of the cheaper prices before they change, I'm thinking about getting the Pro Gear before they don't have 21 karat nibs anymore. There's just like so many things being discontinued. I'm not sure exactly what is, it's been so confusing, but I'm like feeling pressure to just get a real Sailor right now. So yeah, I might just have to. So this is Sailor Shikiori. Hana. That was a weird G, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep turning. Kokoro. I am like off the page now because I turned so much. Do 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 do. I did go down a little bit for this swatch, but that's okay. This is my Jinhao 82 lapis in a in a medium. All right, and this is a dual shader, so it will look a little bit different when it dries down, and it's a very interesting ink. It's got like purples and blues. Like I look at here and I thought, oh, purpley red, kind of burgundy color, and then I opened the jar and I was like, oh, that's like blue. So it's very interesting. Blue, purples, reds, lots of different color notes in there. Very interesting to watch dry. And then Pilot Shiongyo from their Irishizuku line. Got a small bottle. I want one of their big bottles eventually, but for now, I'm more into a small amount of a bunch of different inks to like test things out, see what I like, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm a variety is the spice of life kind of person, so most of mine are smaller bottles and samples at the current moment. Also, I told you I do know the translation for this one is Spring Dawn. So it felt very appropriate for this time of the year. And I was like itching to try a Pilot ink. So I went ahead and got it. It's beautiful. It is another highly recommended ink. I think I had been like trying to find different quirky ones, and now I'm like, I want to try the highly recommended one. So I got like Lee Date, Shiongyo, any Sailor ink really, or any Irishizuku ink really. They are again similar but different here. This one is definitely, I would say, the most true purple. And then yeah, these are kind of more burgundy-esque ones, but this one is more saturated, and this one has that dual shading aspect. So there is variation there. Then for this ink, I have it inked in my TWSBI Plum and Onyx in a medium nib. This is Pilot. Oh yeah, Eero Shizuku. Shiongyo. I'm not good at these little spiralies around the circle, but you get the picture. Boop. There's a little cat hair. All right. And this one is inked in my TWSBI Plum plus Onyx in a medium. Next category, we will move on to pink, red kind of colors. And more samples for this section. Laban Aries Red. Felt like it was perfect for Aries season. There's, not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to the inks I choose. Some of it is season dependent and like how either the color or the name fit the time of the year. And some of it is just what color I feel like using at the moment. I don't really have like a theme too much. Sometimes a theme kind of presents itself in a way. Definitely brown, purple, and green heavy this month. But, I guess I am kind of red. I have just as many reds as I have greens, and then plus a pink to kind of round out that color family. So, yeah. And then one kind of weird one that I got as a sample from a friend in my journaling group, and I am not sure exactly what it is. If I had to guess, I would say Wearingal White Rabbit. So it's kind of a weird one, and I put it in a weird pen to kind of go with it. Ah, that is not a good circle. That's okay. I was like, ooh, I have more space now. And it got a little wonky, but that's okay. And it's definitely doesn't have a clip close enough. My one and only gold nib fountain pen is my Pilot Vanishing Point in the red and gold. I heard they were discontinuing the gold trim ones, and I had to get my hands on one before that happened. So here we are. They really had this blue or black with the gold trim, and I already had some blue pens. I didn't really have a true red pen, and I think I would be fine with their matte black pen for a black pen from them. So that was kind of my reasoning in getting this one. It is pretty affordable for an 18 karat knit pen. Most others in this price range, you're going to get 14 carats instead of 18 and stuff like that. So it is pretty affordable for what you get. And oh God, do I love that click. The clip doesn't really bother me, and I'm very excited to have it. The one downside is the Con 40 converter, but most people just use a cartridge and refill it. I do have some cartridges I want to use in this soon, and then when the ink is out of there, I will be doing that instead of using the Con 40 for now. I do have the Con 40 in it. This is Laban Aries Red. It's difficult to do. We're gonna switch it up. Switch it up. All right, and this is in my Pilot Vanishing Point red plus gold with a medium nib. Can you tell I'm a medium nib girly? Even like I would prefer a Japanese medium to a Western fine a lot of the time. You know, it's Esterbrook. I do like their fine nib, to be fair. But yeah, I don't know. I have some range in there even with the mediums, because obviously these mediums are different than these Pilot mediums, and even these two Pilot mediums are different from each other. I would say this is like even finer than my Esterbrook fine nib, and then this one is probably closer to that Esterbrook fine nib. I think because it's the gold, it kind of makes it a little juicier. This one's a shimmer, so I'm going to shake it. It is the Colorverse Red Horse. This is the Colorverse Red Horse 2026 ink. And this one is the one with gold shimmer. I got two samples, one of the standard and one with the gold shimmer, to see which one I'd like. And of course, by the time I decide, they're all sold out everywhere. But hopefully they do a restock. I do prefer with the gold shimmer, but I'm scared to put shimmer in my vanishing point. So I'm thinking of getting the standard and then their gold shimmer like additive essentially, and going that route for it, so I can kind of get the best of both worlds that way. And this month I have it inked in my, I believe they call this purple. Lamy Safari All-Star. But to me, it looks very red, or maybe plum, like closer to that TWSBI Eco plum kind of color. So like a red, purple, burgundy-esque color. But yeah, so this is the Color Verse Red Horse Shimmering. All right. Another reason why I have so many, I didn't even do the other things, but another reason why I have so many medium nibs is because it is my go-to when I'm trying out a new brand to kind of find that baseline with them. So this one is also a medium nib. It is my first Lamy. So this is the Lamy All-Star Purple with a medium nib. So that's the reds, and then I have this kind of like pinky peachy, pink orangey kind of color. Also another Colorverse ink as well. It is called Surrey Fog. Not sure if I put enough. Use a little bit more to get it some depth to the color. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Scooch that around a little bit, let it pool a few places. It's so meditative, just watch inks. It always makes me feel better. There we are. It's the Travelers Company Pocket Brass Fountain Pen. It only comes in a fine nib, and honestly, I love the way this pen writes. It is a Japanese pen with a fine nib. It only comes in a fine nib, but it is, I would say it runs a little bit more like a Western fine. I think it takes like the best from all fountain pens and puts them together. It is so enjoyable to write with. It has like some flexiness to it. Not really. It's not made to flex, but it's got some bounce, and for a steel nib, it's just beautiful to write with, and I love it. So this is my, oops, I'm doing the ink name first. Color Verse Surrey Fog. Oh, I might be running low on ink in it already because I've been writing with it so much. Let me check. Interesting. I've never had this issue with it. Of course, after I'm talking about I love it, I start to have issues with it, but I still love it. There she is. I think it was honestly the Kaweco converter that was the problem. There she is. All right. See, just look at how nice my handwriting looks with that pen. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know what was happening at the start, but I think it was more to do with the Kaweco converter or Kaweco converter that I have in here than the pen itself. And we're moving on. Let's do this orange that I have. And again, yet another Colorverse ink sample. So this is their Space Needle ink, which I live in Washington State, so in kind of the greater Seattle area. So I wanted to try it. I had to. And also, I just realized this one is Van Ness that I got the samples from. I did, at the start of my fountain pen journey, get a couple samples from Goulet pens. I'm still going to use those, but I will no longer be supporting Goulet pens after finding out that they are supportive of some pretty hateful beliefs and stuff. So, and do PR to appear otherwise, but have fostered hate in their community, and I don't stand for that, so I do not shop with them anymore. I've made one purchase from them before I knew that, and oh yeah, oops, before, and now I don't purchase with them. So the other places I've gotten samples from are Van Ness. They're the one with the most selection, I would say, and the other one is called Pen Boutique. They had a mystery sampler that I got, and there was one other, I think Right Love Pens or something like that. My point is, don't shop at Goulet. There are other options. It's a nice color. I do like this orange. Been experimenting with some lighter inks lately and liking them more than I expected. I am kind of a dark and moody girl usually, but something about the springtime, it's definitely bringing out a different side to me. And I do have those multiple facets, I'm not all one thing. So this is the Colorverse USA Washington, I'm gonna abbreviate actually. WA Space Needle. Getting weird ease over here, but that's okay. Alright. And this is in my Jinhao 90. I can never remember if it's the 9019 or 9016. I'm gonna go 19. I don't know, but it's the Didao one. And they technically call this pen red, but it's orange. Take that with that what you will. And then I was supposed to have a heartbeat nib on this one, but they sent it with the wrong nib, and it was just not going to be worth the hassle to send it back. I can buy those nibs separately later if I want to, so, and they're pretty cheap, so I just kept it. But I would say it is probably the pen I use the least, just because I like the nib the least, but I kind of bought a lot of these Jinhaos with the intent of either they'll work well or they'll be good practice for tuning nibs. So at some point I will try to do that. I'm gonna do this weird mystery ink now. It is a bit of a strange one. Another Jinhao Sailor dupe, the Jinhao 82. This one's in, I believe it's color block 13. And I have a Fude nib on it. So it's like this bent nib. So you can get different sizes and stuff like that with your writing. I'll kind of give you a little bit more of the line variation that you can get from it. You can do more, but let's start to kind of see what I mean. And then I'm just going to put a little question mark. Maybe it's not White Rabbit. It looks a little different. I don't know. I'll have to ask her. But honestly, pens wise, these two are probably my least favorite pens and least used pens. Not to say that I don't like the ink in them currently though. Now I will do my one kind of teal, blue-green kind of color, River of Fire. We're getting towards the end. Thought I had 13 inked this month, but I guess I have 14. Anyways. So yeah, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, and I still have 2 left. This is Robert Foster River of Fire. Right. This is in my TWSBI. Did I even write Eco? No, I didn't write Eco. I only have TWSBI Eco, so I'm pretty sure I know. But TWSBI Eco in the Indigo plus Bronze and a fine nib. I need some more variation to my nib sizes. I really have pretty much fine and mediums, and that's it. I need some broads and some extra fines and some stubs and stuff like that. So stuff to work on and some specialty nibs. I do have a journaler nib. I'm very excited to have that. My last two, which are both more medium nibs. So I have Inkybara Grass Green. For my next one is a very spring-esque green. Just playing around with it at this point. I have in my green Kaweco Sport. Perfect. This is in the Cofaco Sport Green in a medium nib. I've been really enjoying that one this month. I think it's very fitting for the time period. It kind of brightens some of this up a little bit. There's, you know, I have a variety from light to dark here this month. Last but not least, I have this Jacques Herbin Vert Olive, kind of somewhere in between a sample and a bottle. The company's sample itself, instead of a shop having to pipette them out into these little things. And it's a little more, usually a lot of the shop samples are between 2 and 5 milliliters, and a lot of companies, their smallest bottle is 15 milliliters. This one is 10, so it's kind of somewhere in between. Put a lot down for that one. Part of me wants to do a video of my pen collection, and the other part of me is like, this is basically that, because this is all but one of my pens. Anyway, this is the Esterbrook Estie in Botanical Gardens with the gold trim, my first Estie, and it has the medium nib. So this is Jacques Herbin Vert Olive. That was a good way to do it. Got me to a good point to do my little swirlies. Wet. This is in the Esterbrook Estie Botanical Gardens medium nib. And that's that. That's the whole thing. So I am going to take a break and let everything dry, and then we'll kind of zoom in on each individual ink and see what I'm looking like. All right, so now that they're all dry, or at least mostly dry, let's zoom in on them. Come over here to the Lidate, and it is a gorgeous, truly a tea brown color. I love the variations as you get more ink on the page. The writing sample is just so good. A nice cool brown. And then we go into the warmer ones, this Esterbrook Incredible Rock. It works so well in the pen that was made for it. I had it inked in a different pen before, and it was like lighter. I was like, ooh, did I make a mistake getting a full bottle of this ink? And now that I have it in the pen that it's made to be with, it is just an incredible pairing. I love it so much. And then we go into the Kobe Arima Amber. Definitely an amber color. It is very saturated, and I love it. And then we go to the KWZ Gray Plum. It is a like almost black kind of purple, and I don't really use black ink very often. I do like almost blacks, so that is my preference. I would rather an almost black than a black, because it's like a secret depth to it. But yeah. And then one, the Sailor Shikiori, Hanagakoro. Look at all of those different colors all in there. I love dual shading inks. I've been very enthused by them. Can't see it as much in the writing sample in the video, but you can see it in person. Doesn't come out quite the same on camera. This one is the Pilot Irishizuku Shiangyo. I'd say it leans a little bit more red than the Hanagakoro, but still a like burgundy, purpley red. And definitely looks a little bit more purpley than it does on camera in person as well. And the flow on this is so nice. That's what Pilot inks are known for. And then a bright red in this Laban Aries red. It's got some pinky notes to it as well. Definitely some shading. I love that color variation from those light reds to the darker ones, and is perfect for Aries season. And then my shimmery friend. I can't have no shimmer inks. I have to have at least one. So here we are with that shimmer. I will say they can be difficult inks, for sure. This one has been totally fine. I've had no issues with it so far, but I've only had it in my pen for about a week. So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the month. I love it. I love the kind of rusty red, darker red color. You can kind of see the difference a little bit between the brighter Aries one there, and that glitter just brings the whole thing home for me. This Colorverse Saray Fog, I am surprised how much I like this ink. It is definitely on the lighter side for me. I'm not a super pinky kind of person, but something about this ink, I just love it. And look at that writing sample. There is some feathering here, but I think that's more about the paper than the ink. I had some of that in the Lamy sample there too. So something about this bottom corner, it's probably oils from my hand. Honestly, I should be using my blotter paper under my hand as I write on this paper. But I had bought this ink to kind of match the color for the month in my, let me see, in my Hobonichi Techo, but it doesn't quite match. The Hobonichi color is a bit more mauve-y, but it's good enough for now. And speaking of, there is an ink on here that I will have ink for 2 months because it does match quite well to the color for the next month in there. But I'll let you know when I get there. And the third and final Colorverse ink of the month is this Space Needle. Let me zoom out so you can see the difference there. It is definitely an orangier color, and I love that. And having seen the sunset on the Space Needle, this is just perfect for that. And I couldn't resist the name of the ink. Sometimes those names get you. That's for sure. Speaking of names, this one, I'm not sure what the name is. A friend from my journaling group gave me a sample of this, and it's definitely fun. I can really have fun with it. Robert Oster, River of Fire. What a pretty teal color. Definitely a fun mix of blue and green. More green leaning, I would say. This Inkibara Grass Green might be the pick of the month, honestly. It is such a perfect spring green and paired very well with my Kaweco Sport, and I am very much enjoying it for the theme of this month. And then this is the ink here that'll be inked for 2 months because it goes with the color for the Hobonichi next month, but it is just a pretty olive color. I am definitely into olive greens. What a gorgeous one. I love that shading. Love a good shading ink. Both of these have really great shading. I think they're greens that do something different. So I think they work really well together. Here's my ink selection as a whole. Let me know if you want me to go into a more detailed video about my pen collection or if this was good enough for you. The only thing that is not mentioned here pen-wise is my Jinhao 10. I think it's the 10. The 10 is the one that's more vanishing point than, and the 20 is the Decimo one, I think. I have the more vanishing point one. I think it's the 10 in the coffee gradient. I also technically have a red marble one, but that one has dry out issues. The coffee gradient one is perfectly fine, so I don't really count the other one. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, and otherwise, I'll see you next time.